And I believe the Hebrew's not here, but the root source is shoresh, your root. Shin, resh, shin, right? Like the root of a verb, the roots of a tree, shoresh. Go to your root source. Wherever you go, you must raise up the sparks in that place connected to your root soul. That is what God meant in saying, go forth, lech lecha. Go to yourself on your own, to your source, and raise up those sparks. This is the language of Chassidut, going to the root, raising up the sparks. So we all have to take this journey at various times in our lives. Maybe, it's not a one-time thing. There are small lech lechas, there are larger lech lecha moments of our lives. But when you feel that stirring of, I need to go, there's going to be transformation. Sometimes it's very uncomfortable, and we need to do that. So go to your root source. That's what I want to illuminate today. This comes from a book, wonderful book called Radical Wholeness, The Embodied Present and the Ordinary Grace of Being by Philip Shepherd. He's talking about 4 stages of embodied remembrance. The second one, he labels rest. Resensitizing the pelvic bowl awakens the place in the body where the center of your awareness can come to rest, centered in the intelligence of the body. Just take a moment again to contact the breath, filling the pelvic bowl. Experientially, the pelvic floor is the very ground of your being. Right? So the very bottom of the pelvis. Experientially, the pelvic floor is the very ground of your being, and the center of the pelvic floor is the perineum. Okay, so the perineum is the tissue that's between the anus and the genitals. That's the perineum. It's known in yoga as Mula Bandha, the root lock, the root chakra, right, is the perineum. So some of you may be very familiar with this from previous yoga practice, particularly in Ashtanga yoga. There's a lot of discussion of the bandhas. There are 3 of them. We're addressing one of them today. To some of you, this might be very new and interesting. To some of you, this might be a little intimate and unappealing. If so, just let my words wash over you. Please be at choice and always take your practice at your own physical, emotional, spiritual pace. It's so important. And I support that for you and invite you for that. So, pelvic floor is the ground of your being, and the center of the pelvic floor is the perineum. Until that place is available, until you can come home to yourself by landing there, that is to say, truly at the root, at the shoresh, at the base of your pelvic floor, and Philip Shepherd tells us of our being. Until that place is available, the center of your awareness will tend to scamper back up into the head. And from there, it can notice the body's sensations from the head, but will be unable to unite with them. That is, be fully present and in concert with them, in harmony with them. When you liberate the center of your awareness from the head, drop it through the body, and allow it to come to rest on the perineum, you soften into the currents of the voluble present and activate the still point of your core, the center of your intelligence from which wholeness can be felt. That's a wow, right? So when Kedushat Levi says, go to your root source, we can take that in our yogic learning to Mula Bandha. So a short exercise in accessing this place, then we're going to take it into our standing poses and seated poses today and see if really inviting our pelvic floor to come with us, inviting our own minds to attune to sensation there, if it grounds us in any way, if it can inform us, show us anything. So that's where we'll be focusing today. Okay. So the first thing we can do is a gross effort, just like everything. If I want to, sensitize very closely, for instance, to sensation in my palm, I might start with the gross movement, opening and closing a lot, right? So the gross movement here is pretend you have to go to the bathroom, both 1 and 2, so to speak, and squeeze everything. Squeeze your whole pelvic floor. And then release. And do that once more. Anus, genitals, everything. The whole thing. Draw the pelvic floor up or contract the pelvic floor. And then release. And then see if you can separate the urge to urinate from the urge to make a bowel movement. Can you squeeze one and then the other? So practice that for a moment. Keep breathing, either one at a time, a few times, or go back and forth. Have to go number 1, have to go number 2. And then rest completely. Just rest everything. See if you can really relax the pelvic floor. And then see if you can contact the perineum, that space right in between, and think of contracting it, or think of gently lifting it up. Sometimes if one goes to PT, for the pelvic floor, they'll do an exercise with you where you squeeze and you think of an elevator going up floor 1, 2, 3, 4, squeezing, tightening a little more, and then releasing fully. So that's even more graded, where you do a little, right? But just let's see if we can contact that place of the perineum. And then release everything. And then just come back to sitting. The breath coming and going. Can you engage the perineum and continue breathing freely? Is it possible? Or do other things squeeze? Does your throat squeeze? Does the whole abdomen squeeze? See if you can really isolate this one small shoresh place, as it were, the root. And then let it go. Just continue breathing softly, easily, smoothly. And try not to be judgmental or get frustrated. This is very, very subtle, nuanced work. Right? So if it doesn't come right away, and you're used to getting things right away, don't worry. Let's come to stand. Find mountain pose, either with the feet together or hip width apart. And just ground. Ground the 4 corners of the feet, inner and outer heel. Mound of the big toe over the mound of the little toe. Inhale, take the arms forward and up to the extent possible, depending on your own shoulders. Lift up. Ground the feet as you extend the fingertips, and then exhale and come down. We'll go a few times like this. Inhale up. Extend through the fingertips. Ground through the feet. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Now, as you inhale up, can you also engage the perineum? And exhale, release. Inhale, engage. Subtle. Small place. Exhale, release. Pause. We're going to now do the opposite and engage on the exhale and see if it's easier, harder, different. So inhale, arms up. And then exhale, arms come down, engage the perineum. Inhale, release, arms up. Exhale, engage. Release, inhale, arms up. Exhale, engage. And then release, pause, take hands to the belly. Maybe one hand to the lower belly below the navel and one hand to the upper belly, solar plexus, etc., above the navel. Just breathe and soften where the belly meets the hands. And as you allow these movements to subtly imprint on your system, notice for yourself, was it easier to engage the perineum on the inhale, or was it easier on the exhale? Or about the same, or neither one? No judgment call, just noticing. And it really doesn't matter which one is easier. For those who associate engaging the perineum with a lift, the inhale might be easier. For those who engage it as contraction, that might be easier to do on the exhale. We're going to take standing poses. And I invite you to do this standing free or with use of the chair. And I think since it's obvious to most of us how to do it standing, we're going to take Warrior Two. I will model with the chair today. So if you're using the chair, you just want to make sure your support comes up as high as you're going to need. We turn to the right, left toes in, right toes out. If you are using chair today, then the right thigh comes to the chair. So make your way on into the pose as one does. Let the shoulder blades slide down the back. Take the gaze over the right fingertips. Just a breath or two, and then come on out and switch to the other side. Inhaling, arms up, and exhaling, bend through the left knee, coming into the pose. Couple of breaths, first Warrior Two of the day, perhaps of the week, perhaps of the month. And then release, come on back up. Other side. So make your way into Warrior Two again to the right. And once you arrive and you feel comfortable here, see if you can bring up the root lock. See if you can go to your shoresh, go to the root, and raise the perineum a little bit. Lift or contract, whichever language, or maybe there's a different word that resonates for you. See if you can engage. And does it have any resonance down or up, anywhere in the body for you? And then release that root lock. Come on back, and we'll come to the other side. So same thing, make your way into the pose, comfortably and with ease. And then engage the root lock. And simply observe. Release and come on back. I'm going to take my chair away, but if you're enjoying your chair today, keep on with the chair. Come to the other side. We're going to take side angle next. Right? Or you may want to have block behind you, or you may just take forearm to thigh. Jump or step the feet wide. We're turning again to the right. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bend the right knee. Inhale, forearm to the thigh or hand to the block. Exhale, top arm coming over if you'd like. Right? So you might be here, you might be here. You'll see what you need. Maybe the gaze is forward, maybe the gaze is up toward your armpit. You decide. Inhale, come on up. We'll switch sides. So we're just staying a couple breaths, and then we'll return and add the root lock and see what we notice. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And just find your way into side angle, stretching both side waists as evenly as possible away from the pelvis. Inhale, press into the feet, come up. Switch sides again, we go to the right. So make your way into the pose. And then when you arrive, see if you can engage your root. The floor of the pelvis, the center of awareness, as Philip Shepherd instructs us. Couple of breaths. Inhale, come on up. Turn the feet. Other side. Refining the pose perhaps a little bit in your alignment points. And then bring up the root lock. And again, can you engage it and stay soft elsewhere? Particularly throughout the abdomen. Inhale, make your way up. We're going to take wide leg forward bend. Maybe you want your chair in front of you or blocks. Maybe your hands are going to come to the floor. Jump the legs wide. Outer edges of the feet parallel to the outer edges of the mat. You can turn your toes in slightly if that's available to you. Hands to the hips. Bring up the root lock. Inhale, lift the heart. And exhale, fold forward, hinging from the hips. Return your awareness to the root lock. Because it's easy to, get it, lose it, get it, lose it. See if you can just keep returning. Hands to the chair or to your blocks. Long spine, draw the thighs back. You can stay right here at 90 degrees. Or you can fold more fully toward the floor if you wish. Bringing the fingertips in line with the toes, elbows 90 degrees, folding over. And once again, revisiting the perineum. Can you engage the root lock? Inhale and lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to the hips. Inhale, lift up tall. And exhale, come back to center. Okay, hop or step the feet together. In yogic understanding, when we engage the root lock, we retain prana or life force, right? In Hebrew, chayut, we retain our life force in when we lift up on that root lock. So, taking a balance pose, tree, and we can bring our awareness, does engaging the root help us in any way with our balance? So using the right leg as the standing leg, ground down, turn out from the left hip and place your foot. So you'll see where you want it to be, ankle, calf, upper thigh, just not against the knee. And of course you can bring a hand to the wall for balance. You could bring your whole back body to a wall for balance. You decide. Soft gaze. Palms together at the heart. Or perhaps you want your hands overhead, palms together or arms wide. And bring up the root lock. Lech lecha. Lechi lach. Go down, 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 journeying into yourself. In order to create the foundation for transformation. Release. And without any fidgeting, come and take the other side. Quietly coming over to the other side, and once again, can you lift? Can you engage? Can you contract the perineum? Bringing sensitivity, awareness to the pelvic floor. And then release. We're going to come to the floor. Get your blanket. It's folded so that you're able to sit up tall. So that there's no slumping, slouching in the lower back. And we'll start with cobbler pose, or you can make it diamond pose with the legs a little forward. And of course you can do this on the floor, or you can do this seated at the edge of a chair. Also great. And we'll make less of an angle for your hips and your knees. So follow the needs of your own joints. You don't want to have any pain or strain. So holding on to ankles. If you're at the chair, maybe you're holding on behind you on the chair. Or you can take 2 fingers if you're seated under the big toes. Whichever's more comfortable for you, and simply ground down and lift up simultaneously. Find your even sitting from right to left, and then see, is it possible to engage the root lock? So it might be a little more accessible in the seated poses, perhaps because you can feel your bottom against the blanket, against something that often helps. And then from here, take the legs wide. If you'd like some bend in your knees, you can take some bend in your knees. You could put a block under each knee, or even just a hand towel or washcloth. Sometimes it's very nice to support the joint from the back. If it's okay for you to lengthen the legs straight, then go ahead and do that. And again, we want to make sure we're really seated up tall on the sitting bones. So you can also do this seated very well. So sitting up tall, take the hands behind you, fingertips, draw the elbows toward each other and lift the chest. And then see about that subtle lift of the root. Try 5 times. Just engaging, disengaging as you sit tall. We'll turn to face the right leg. Shifting the rib cage around. You can hold either side of the mat to sort of push, pull, draw the spine into a bit of a twist before we forward fold. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe this is plenty. It can be very challenging to get the stickiness of the intercostals to open up and help us move, right? So maybe you're just fine here. Or perhaps you want to begin to fold forward again at the crease of the hips. You can really use those right fingertips to press down to help the twist and coming over. Maybe the hands come to the foot. Perhaps you want to use a strap. Just exploring this twist plus forward bend, forward extension. And again, playing with the engagement of the shoresh, of the root lock. Does it seem to have any effect on your movement, on your embodiment in this pose? And then coming back to center, and we'll take the other side so you can lift up and twist to face the left leg. Take the hands to the mat, push, pull. Inhale, lengthen, open the sternum, widen. And if you'd like, you can begin to fold forward. Come on up, come back to center. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, folding forward. Once again, lightly engaging the root. So all journeying begins really with a seed of inner agitation or inner enlightenment that just knows, senses a calling, an impulse to transform, right? And that seedling can come right from the very depth, the very root, the very base, whatever you want to call it, root chakra, mula bandha, from the shoresh. When you're ready, come on up. You can take a hand under either knee, bend the knee. Bring the legs back together. You can take windshield wipers side to side or a little pat, 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 shake out the legs. And then we're going to come to lie down on our backs. We're going to take bridge pose and a modified shoulder stand to close practice. So you'll have either your blanket or a block nearby for the shoulder stand part. So laying it down on your back, draw your heels in line with your sitting bones and close to your sitting bones. Take your hands long, elbows straight, arms extended, and grab either side of your mat. Roll the eyes of your elbows up toward the ceilings. Tuck your shoulders under you just a little bit. So you kind of roll onto your outer shoulders. Inhale here. Exhale, press into the feet, lengthen the tailbone, lift the thighs up. So really think from the hip points, like two headlights lifting up toward the ceiling. Just a low bridge to begin. Think about the length of the tailbone. And when you're ready, widen the shoulders and exhale, vertebra by vertebra, coming down to the floor. Releasing down. And we'll take it again. Inhale. Exhale, lengthen the tailbone. Press through the feet. Lift the hips up. Maybe you take a low bridge again. Maybe you come up a little bit higher, roll the shoulders under a little more. Maybe you want to clasp hands underneath you. So you decide. Don't let the knees splay. Thighs are parallel. You can kind of think about magnetizing the inner knees toward each other. And when you're ready, widen the shoulders, release down. Beautiful. One last time, inhale and exhale, make your way on up. Whatever kind of bridge you would like. If you'd like a restorative bridge, you can go ahead and place that block right under your back of your pelvis and rest down. If you want more energizing, really stay with it, stay with the breath, make some heat, lift the hip points up. When you're ready, exhale and drop down vertebra by vertebra, like each vertebra is a precious pearl. You're laying back down. And then grab your block or your blanket. Press into the feet, lift the hips, place the back of the sacrum onto the block, shoulders tucking under you a little bit, arms extended. We're going to send the legs up toward the ceiling. Right, so the block can be on the lowest level, as mine is, or you can go up one more level if you'd like. Flex through the feet, spread the toes. Beautiful way to practice inversion while not doing any harm to the cervical vertebrae. A little gentler version. If the shoulders are tight, if there are any issues in the neck, this is a really nice one. You get all the benefits of inversion. You could do this one also with feet against the wall for a little more restorative quality to it. But it's good to invert for a few minutes every day. As you tuck those shoulders under you, you can even turn the palms to face up, giving a little more widening to the front of the chest, or you can, again, hold on to opposite sides of the mat, whatever works for you. When you're ready, come on down, bend the knees, and then hug the knees toward the chest, with your sacrum still onto the block, if it doesn't aggravate too much. Just gives you another little angle here. A little more opening to the thoracic. Space as you hug in. Then you can slowly release that block and come to rest any way you like. Find some stillness, a few minutes. Maybe you'd like to lengthen out, traditional Shavasana, legs long, mat width apart, arms by your sides, palms facing up. Or maybe you'd like conscious rest position, knees bent, soles of the feet to the floor. Hands resting on the low ribs or the belly. Take a few minutes of stillness. Allowing the nervous system to absorb the efforts of your practice. Begin to deepen the breath, coming back to the surface. And take all the time you need to make your way up to a seated position. Or if you discern that you have or need more time to rest, you feel free, of course, to turn off the video and continue with your Shavasana for a little longer. So we heed the words this week of Kedushat Levi on Lech Lecha. Go into yourself, go into your root source and your root soul, as he says, and access the wisdom and full awareness that are there. Ken Yeh Ratzon, may it be so. We take the fruits of our practice outward. We don't hold them on only to ourselves. If there's anyone close to you who needs healing, send your prayers for their refuah shlema, their complete healing. Feel free to put their names in the chat if you'd like. Send out healing for the planet. We send out our wishes to the 101 Chatufim, the hostages in Gaza. We won't forget them, not for one day. So you can join me in reading or just in listening to the prayer that occurs in our Torah service during the weekdays, Mondays and Thursdays, because we've had captives to pray for in the past. Unfortunately, it made its way into our liturgy. Achenu, Achyotenu, כל בית ישראל, הנתונים בצרה ובשביה, העומדים בין בים ובין ביבשה. המקום ירחם עליהם ויוציאם מצרה לרווחה, ומאפלה לאורה ומשיבוד לגאולה, השתה בגלה בזמן קריב, ונאמר אמן. May they be returned speedily in our time. And this is, of course, just the beginning of our prayers for at home, for the Middle East. Please add your prayers, your wishes, in your own words, from your own heart. They matter. They really matter. When you're ready, you can take a full exhale of Khatima, of seal on our practice today. Thank you so much for practicing. Please vote tomorrow. Look forward to seeing you next week and beyond.